I think even parents are going to agree with me. It's Adam and Allison on Y101. I realize I am not a father, so there might be someone, you may be thinking that I have no right to have an opinion about this, but that doesn't stop me. 601-995-1017. Adam and Allison, Y101, if you've got thoughts on what I'm about to say. So I saw this Facebook post that was shared from one of my friends. It would be like, I'm not even friends with this person. They said, I have the best employer ever.
Ooh.
My daughter wasn't feeling well at school today, and they let me bring her to work. What an amazing company that truly puts family first above all else. I love my job, and I was just thinking that I don't want your sick kids at work with me. Why would that be okay? I understand having a family first culture, so maybe be more, lenient with parents taking sick days to be at home with their child, or allowing parents to work from home if they have a sick kid. I would prefer that, but I don't want your germy sick kid at the office to get everybody else sick at work.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think that is the craziest thing ever. Like, I can't she's too sick to be at school. Why is she not too sick to be at the office?
Well, okay, I feel like there is a little bit of a distinction. The one thing we can agree on is that I'm okay with if a company wants to be more lenient with a parent who has a sick child to say, like, hey, if it's a job where you can work from home, like, and you just maybe got to leave them for a little bit to come in for a meeting. And like my mom used to do that whenever she worked really, really close to our house. And also I was a little bit older, so she could leave me. But before that, when she used to work in downtown Houston, and we lived way in the suburbs, so it was like an hour plus drive in between.
Yeah.
And also I was too young to be left alone. Guess where I was whenever I was sick? Under her desk.
That's gross. I would hate that if I was your mom's coworker, because I don't want that.
But I wasn't getting other people sick.
How
because
can you possibly
I wasn't,
say that?
Like, I wasn't out and about. I was literally shoved under her desk the whole day. Like, I wasn't a place where I was going to get, like, and then people just wouldn't come into her office so she could go to them or whatever. But, like, it's contained. Like, you're being crazy.
So did she wrap you up in saran wrap or whatever to transport you from the front door to her office? And then did she put caution tape all over her door so nobody would come in and interact with your sickness?
No, but it was always fine.
I think that it's crazy that anybody would expect to be able to bring a sick kid to work. I like, that would blow my mind. Blow my mind. 601-995-1017 is our phone number. Like I said, I know there's got to be moms or dads that agree with me, even though I don't have a kid, that this is bonkers to be like, oh, I'm bringing my sick kid to work. No, thank you. 601-995-1017. Mary says, I totally agree with you. If the kid is sick, you should be home. So the lenient company should allow the parent to be off without issues. Well, they should have to take a sick day. They shouldn't get extra sick days for being a parent.
It's like, then they might actually get sick and need a sick day from work. So here's where the whole issue compounds, because you only get so many sick days, and they might get sick, especially after their kid has been sick. So then they really do have to miss work. Now, if you don't want the sick kid coming to work, you're going to have to allow the parent more time off.
That is not true. Then the parent needs to make less money than a non-parent.
Well,
there should be a $5,000 increase in salary for not having kids.
No, but that's not having a family first mentality.
If you're new to the show and just joining us this morning, first of all, welcome. I am not a parent. Allison is not a parent.
No.
However, I have an opinion on bringing your sick kid to your office if they're too sick to go to school, that's the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard. It's not that your company doesn't have a family first culture if they don't let you bring your sick kid to work. It's that, don't bring sick kids around the office. That seemed obvious to me, but I saw this Facebook post about how grateful this woman was that her company let her bring her sick daughter to work for the day so she could lay under her desk and just rest there. And the mom didn't have to take a day off work to deal with the sick kid. I would be furious if I was a coworker.
I can only go based off of my experience, since, like you said, you and I both are not parents, whenever I was being parented, whenever I was growing up, my mom did that countless times. She had a little mat that she would set up under her desk, and I would just lay there all day. So that way I could have the day off school because I had a fever or whatever, and she wouldn't have to take a day off work because she had better plans for that time off.
I'm sure her colleagues loved her for that, bringing sick you around. Yolanda says, first off, Adam is crazy. Just because a child is sick doesn't mean they are contagious. Stomach aches, headaches, etc. can be bad enough to leave school because you just need to lie down or rest. Well, okay, then I would like a clean bill of health from the doctor saying they're not contagious.
Also, something we haven't brought up yet in this conversation is how paranoid you have been about this stomach flu since you were a child.
Yeah.
So if a kid is not contagious but has a stomach ache, that is not going to ease your worries at all if that kid is in our office.
I'm not going to believe that they're not contagious. Like, come on. 601-995-1017. The other thing that kind of came up was I feel like you floated the idea that parents should get more PTO or more bosses should be more lenient with parents' PTO. I don't think that that's right either, because then all of a sudden parents have carte blanche to just do less work than non-parents.
Well, I mean, maybe it's a separate set of days or opportunities for them to work from home or make it up on the weekend. I don't know, but I can understand having plans for your PTO because we got to plan it so far in advance, and then your kid gets sick and you don't want to take a day off of work.
My problem.
Well,
and Izzy agrees with me. She says sometimes there are people who have kids who take so much time off that people who are paid less than them in lower positions are forced to work twice as hard to make up for them being gone so much. So it's like, okay, parents just have to work less at work than non-parents. That seems real fair. What do you think, Jennifer? You said you never agree with either of us.
And I think a lot of it's because I'm so much older than y'all. But on this one, I'm actually with you. I don't bring your kid to work if you're sick. If they're sick, I get mad when my children are at school with sick kids that their parents will give them Tylenol. That masks it. That does not make the sickness go away. And then you send your kid, and now my kid's sick, and they come home with it and give it to all of us. You know, that's not right. You don't do that. You know, I mean, I don't think people understand how germs work.
And I would think it would just be common knowledge that if the kid is too sick to go to school, he or she is also too sick to come to work with you.
Now, I will say, I do think that work, and my work happens to be like this, to be more lenient towards you can work from home, because I've done that. Also, because if I've been around them, I'm probably contagious too.
Yeah, I don't even want you to talk about your sick kid. I don't want to know that you have a sick kid at home.
Like, don't even look at me. Like, don't even look. I don't want the flu.
Thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate the phone call. I'm glad you're on my team.
This whole conversation and basically nobody being on my side when I'm basing this off of my childhood experience makes me feel like I know exactly what I'm going to talk about in my therapy session tomorrow.
Adam and Allison in the morning.